Hey folks, whoa, way too much. Hey folks, today is Friday, August 16th, 2019. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino. It's Friday. It's time to talk about all the video game news, get you guys caught up on the week. Let's just jump in to it. I gotta learn how to avoid saying, let's just jump right into it. But this first bit of news you might find a little interesting. A bunch of cheaters have found themselves in an interesting predicament. No, they're not banned or anything like that. They've actually had their identity stolen in a variety of degrees. So, over the past few months, an industry security firm has reported that players on Apex Legends and CSGO who have been seeking out cheats have potentially been downloading shitty cheats that had malicious software in them. There have been cheats out there titled stuff like Apex Legends new cheat, CSGO aimbot, or wall hack, stuff like that. And they have been loaded specifically with malware designed to go through these people's computers and siphon out potential important information, so security numbers, credit card numbers, addresses, names, stuff like that. You know, the whole thing. Still, it just goes to show it's 2019, guys. The internet is a scary, crazy place. You need to be careful, especially when it's impacting both your video games and your personal life. Just be careful, all right, please, from your old pal, Uncle Jake. Now, speaking of that, before we move on, just real quick, I'm opening up the floor once again to feedback. We've been doing the Friday show pretty much the same for years and years now. I'm a big fan of, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just give you guys the info. But we're looking to spice things up, change things up a little bit. So the comment section, the floor is open if you got any ideas, or if you want to tweet me or Instagram me at Jake Baldino. I've been toying around with a bunch of ideas, like presenting more like deals of the week, stuff like that. So if you guys do want something like that, let me know. As much as this show is mine, it's my baby, I started it, it's also yours because you watch. So hit me up. But in other news, finally, let's talk about something good, all right? Saints Row is back. They are definitely 100% working on a new Saints Row. THQ Nordic has confirmed that news this week during an earnings call. A new Saints Row is deep in development. It's in the middle of the process, and this isn't a complete surprise. Volition and THQ Nordic has teased stuff in the past, but now we know that it is officially 100% in development, and we're all big Saints Row fans here in the office, so like this is really freaking good news. I still don't think anything like a Grand Theft Auto 6 or anything like that is coming around anytime soon, and the Saints Row series has become so unique that I'm so happy it exists now. I'm glad it's not just a Grand Theft Auto ripoff clone, and I can't wait to see what the hell they could possibly do with the next one. Also in their financial report, a couple of key details that did come out. A new Timesplitters game is in the works. Now, we talked about it months ago when THQ Nordic acquired the license for Timesplitters, possibly like remastering or something, which I think could still very much happen, but they are working on a new one, and they have one of the series creators on board, seemingly in like an advisory or leadership role. I think that's a good thing. Just goes to show, like, I think they know what they're doing, they know what they're getting into. I please hope that they have the playable monkeys still, because that was like my favorite stupid thing, but we're gonna have to probably wait quite some time to actually see. But one other thing that came out about the report that I found absolutely fascinating is that Dead Island 2 still exists. Dead Island 2, the game that won't freaking die, is still being worked on. It has once again changed hands and being worked on by a different development team. A team by the name of Dambuster Studios, who the last thing they worked on was Homefront: The Revolution, which, okay, that's where we're at. It's a far cry from who was originally working on it. One of the original teams was Jaeger, the guys who made Spec Ops: The Line. So, like, what is this game gonna be? I have no idea. I don't really care what it is. I just really hope it doesn't have a incredibly awesome yet misleading trailer. You guys remember that? That thing was incredible. And then the game was fine. It's very hard for a Dead Island 2 to exist in a Dying Light world, because I love that game so much more. They'll have their differences, I'm sure. Like, I don't want to be unfair, but I'm just saying Dead Island 2 is going to have to do a lot to really stand out. Also, catching up with news last week, I just want to talk about it briefly. The Xbox Cloud Controller. You've probably seen this image being passed around, this official mock-up by a graphic designer, and because essentially a patent has surfaced where Microsoft is indeed looking into technology that can play and stream Xbox games on your phone with this Xbox-like controller thing that plugs into it. The patent was actually for the charger, but it also detailed and outlined the rest of the device, And between that and this very, very good professional mock-up that has been done, I've seen it being passed around by people, especially like normies on my Facebook and stuff, that this is like announced and official. And I just want to say, hey, it's not yet. We gotta relax sometimes. This stuff like spreads like wildfire. I think it's likely, it is a patent. Microsoft has been very vocal about exploring this technology in the past. Do I think it could happen or some variation of it? Yeah, sure. But all I wanted to say is just like hold your horses for a second, you know? Still, the idea of like, you know, your smartphone being turned into an Xbox, like as much as that's already partially a thing through certain technology, to have a big thing you plug into it and then boom, it's really like an Xbox One controller. Is that something that you'd be interested in? Would you prefer that over something like Google Stadia? There's a good conversation to be had here, so let me know in the comments. And of course, all the stories we talk about are linked in the description below, and this one you might want to check out is the July NPDs. I want to talk about these sometimes because they are interesting. Just look at the data, at least what's available out there. Total video game sales in July of 2019 have reached $762 million. That's up from last July, which was $759 million. Hardware sales are down compared to last year. That's because we're deep in the console cycle, of course. But on the game side, the software side, judging from what we can see, of course, these numbers, like, they don't get all of the information, all of digital sales. Not every company plays nice and shares those details, but what we do have is number 1 top-selling game, Madden NFL 20. Number 2, impressively, is Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Good for them, man. Number 3 is Super Mario Maker 2. Number 4 is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And number 5 is Minecraft, because Minecraft is totally back. This just goes to show Nintendo's killing it right now. Shout out to them, both in hardware sales and software sales. But now, let's talk about some trailers and some things that you should watch, maybe check out if you missed them. They're linked in the description below. The first is a trailer for the new Need for Speed game, Need for Speed Heat. And damn it, this just literally looks like another Need for Speed game. I don't think that's the worst thing. I love racing games, and I give every Need for Speed a shot. I've been burned many times before, but I just appreciate some of the things they do. I'm always chasing the dream of a new Need for Speed Underground. I don't know about this one. We'll see. We're going to get an actual look at gameplay, though, on Monday at Gamescom Live. So this is like a big live stream thing that Jeff Keighley is putting on. Big shout outs to him. And what we are going to get from this is probably a decent amount of reveals and looks at new games, including that new sci-fi shooter from one of the people behind Bungie and Master Chief back in the day. We'll probably get a couple of surprises. I think it's going to be something to watch for like gaming news and new stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It's this Monday. Also, there's a new trailer for the other Doom movie they're making. Yes, they're making another Doom movie. It's straight to DVD. And it looks blue. I don't know, there are parts of it that actually look like they get some of the elements better than the old movie did, but this looks rough. Why can't they just make one that like legit has the Doom guy in it? You can argue that the Doom movie from years ago at least had Karl Urban and The Rock, which if you mash them together, they are almost Doom guy. But this Doom, which what's the subtitle called? What is it called? Doom Annihilation, of course. I am definitely going to have a couple drinks and watch this and probably yell at the screen, and I'm all about it. Maybe we should make a video on it. What do you guys think? But in other news, some Splinter Cell news. And first of all, thank you guys who like will always like send me any little snippet of Splinter Cell news, because you know me. I appreciate that. It warms my damn heart. But this news doesn't, because it's not good enough. So, Ubisoft head Yves Guillemot did recently have an interview and went on record about the Splinter Cell franchise once again, which he's been pretty candid about in the past. But the new quote is that the next Sam Fisher game might not be a traditional, and I quote, release. He said it may be some new type of experiences, but more on different devices. He continues on saying, we are working a little bit on the brand today to come back at one point. We can't say when because, as you know, it takes time. But each time, we have to find the right experience to come back big. There are speculations in a lot of the articles saying it seems like it might be some sort of AR or mobile or VR experience. I love VR, but it's the last thing I want to do with Splinter Cell, really, unless it's like kick-ass. The Splinter Cell franchise in like official headlines has bounced back and forth for so long. They're working on something, they're not. Something's coming soon, it's not really. This quote leads me more on the side of like they're still kicking around this franchise, and they are afraid to spend a bunch of money on it, which I get, but I just really want a new Splinter Cell, and this is a bummer. Of course, that is just one person, the head, speaking for Ubisoft, so maybe he's just playing coy. He doesn't want to spoil his hand too early, but perhaps we'll just have to wait and see. Take a shot every time I say that shit. The next bit of news is the follow-up to video game tariffs and potential console price hikes. Now, a week or so ago, we spoke about the potential of video game prices and console prices rising thanks to US tariffs imposed on China for reasons that I will not get into. It looked like it was possible, analysts said it was likely, and the video game companies were trying to get ahead of it and release official statements. So it seemed like it very much a reality. But now, as an update, it looks like we're temporarily fine. The Trump administration has essentially staved off these tariffs for electronic goods in the hopes of preserving the upcoming holiday season. So December 15th is basically the new deadline until we start talking about this again. We'll see where it goes. I'm just throwing it out there as an update to you guys. We put it out a week or so ago, and people were like, oh my god. So, yeah, there's the new information if you want to read more about it, because I don't get into the politics or economics of it. It's linked down there. But now we got to do that console giveaway we do every single week. You know how it goes down by now. There's a link in the description below. You click it to sign up. You enter once, then you're entered for good. And then every single week we go in and randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. Now this week's winner is going to be this person right here. Congratulations. Be sure to keep an eye on your inbox, your spam box, stuff like that, because we're going to be reaching out to you to find out how we can send you your free stuff. But now we got to talk about all the stuff going on this week. The biggest conversation I want to have is, number one, feedback from you guys. Longer show, shorter show, different content, different genres. What do you want? Also, the Splinter Cell news. No, it's not fair. I'm sorry to quote Anakin Skywalker. But really, what do you guys want from a new Splinter Cell game? Can you deal with or handle a sort of smaller experience from our boy Sam Fisher? Also, Need for Speed Heat. If you do like Need for Speed games, or if you do like racing games, what do you expect and what do you want from this? If it does have to be a games as a service, I would love it to be like Need for Speed World, the PC Need for Speed MMO that was actually kind of cool a couple years back, but they pulled the plug on that. That's a pipe dream. That's wishful thinking. Also, are you going to watch that crappy new Doom movie? And Saints Row. What could the next Saints Row game possibly do? There's so much good conversation we could have this week, so I want to hear from you guys down in the comments and on social media. Like I said, at Jake Baldino. Hit me up. But I also got to say, thank you guys for watching every Friday. We appreciate it so much. Seriously. But if you enjoy it, clicking the like button is the only thing you got to do. It helps us out. We appreciate it. And if you're new, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell thing, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.